Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the channel. When I recorded my review of the, wow, this would be absolutely incredible, brain-breaking, painstaking, mind-melding kind of offer in 2019, but in 2022 it feels very overpriced. And do I declare for those proven players who get much less for twice the price? What are you, throne breakers with daily cards? I don't mean to laugh. It's just how Kabam's business model works right now. Look, I will say this. Kabam used to charge like 20 or 30 bucks for a 3-star Deadpool. And so at some point in this week, players that are proven and above, what up the exit? I'll get back to you when I can. Proven and above can score, well, multiple opportunities for a great 5-star. Because when you're proven by completing Act 3, which can easily be a 3-star champion, let's say your best roster is 3-star champions, and you get a chance to get a 5-star Blade for 50 bucks, or 100 bucks, I guess I should say, or a 5-star Archangel for 100 bucks. That's crazy expensive, right? But for those players, Warlock is probably a better example because it doesn't need to be awakened, unlike Archangel. Hyperion's another great example. For these players, it actually is going to save them time. Cosmic Ghost Rider, oh yeah. But it just feels like it's 3 years too late. However, when I reviewed those offers, I did not have available in my unit store, not to be confused with the cash store. I call the cash store for cash the top right and the unit store for units the far right. I didn't have the 5 unread icon notification that you see in front of you. In fact, I think that would be a great thumbnail. And sometimes when you're a YouTuber, thumbnails just appear in your brain and you've got to do your best to harness that brief moment of intelligence. Okay, so we've got ISO and we've got Sig Stones. And what's the first thing you notice? The 6-star Sig Stones are less than 1/3 the price of 5-star Sig Stones. Does that make any sense to anybody else? Anybody? Alright, so you got 50 of the dual class variety. So 100 Sig Stones for 1,500 units, which is more than $50 worth of units. If you were to break that down individually, of course they're not generics, so you can only use 50 mutant on mutant champions and 50 tech on tech champions. But even if they were generics, that would be 15 units per Sig Stone. But it's actually much worse of a value than that because they're limited to class, and I assume this is going to be a rotating schedule every 24 hours. In this case, it's 5 mutant Sigs and 5 tech Sigs for 450 units. And if you're wondering how many units 450 is, well, what do you know? It is somewhere between $10 and $30 worth. But if you're going to guarantee yourself 400, you're just going to call it $15 worth of units, because you'd have to buy the Tony Starks, the Star-Lord's loot bag, and the Peter Parker's wallet together for $15, and that would get you just over 400 units. You know, it's interesting though, $15 is also 3 days worth of the Thronebreaker Daily Special, 3 days worth of Cavalier Daily Special, of course 3 days of the Grandmaster Daily Special. If you've got units lying around, and you are especially a free-to-play player, this is not a terrible offer. Obviously, you want to be able to target the champion that you're looking at. If this was 10 generic, though, if they just said, here's 10 generic Sigs, limit 2, and you could get 20 Sigs, or the equivalent of duping or awakening your 6-star worth of Sigs, 26, I think that's a solid deal for 900 units. That's something I certainly would snatch up. And as much as I want Sig Stones for especially Null, I don't know if I'm going to do it. It is interesting to think, though, that when it comes to the +5s, the other thing that makes it And I get why they do it this way, so that it's not as many to go into your overflow, because +5s are so much harder and rarer to get than +1s, even though +1s are still very rare. But when I look at Null, for me, he's SIG 191. So if I bought the 2 +5s, I'd actually be sacrificing 1 6 stone at this point, which is a significant issue, pun intended. So, I mean, I could buy both of them for Hercules and, well, Hercules is already there. I guess it would be Null and Cosmic Ghost Rider, even though Cosmic Ghost Rider isn't that different of 6 stones. Either way, for free-to-play players, you can do worse, but in general, these are still overpriced. I'm going to put both, well, I'm going to put this offer at a D because it should be at most 1,000 units. I'm going to put this offer at a C to C+. It's okay. I think it should still be closer to 300 units. 450 units is a solid price if they were generics, but they're not. They're class-based. As for the ISO, it's hard for me to judge ISO because I always tell people if you're missing ISO, open all your premiums and grandmasters. Obviously, if you don't have premiums and grandmasters, that take feels very out of touch and pompous. But you could do worse than that many ISO for 450. But again, part of me thinks class is key. And why do we know it's $15 for the price? Because 150,000 gold is retail price for gold from at least 2015. There you have it. Got a C, a D, maybe a C+ in there. I guess the ISO, the top ISO bundle is like a C+. Either way, could be better, could be worse. Standard kabam offer day. Thanks to everybody who told me to review this and got me to get back on my computer.